The United States has a gun problem due to a combination of factors, including cultural, historical, and political reasons. The country's Second Amendment guarantees the right to bear arms, and many Americans view gun ownership as a fundamental right and an essential means of self-defense. Additionally, the country has a long history of frontier expansion, war, and violence, which has contributed to a cultural acceptance of guns. However, the availability and ease of access to firearms have also led to a high rate of gun-related deaths and injuries, including mass shootings, homicides, and suicides. The political influence of the gun lobby and the ongoing debate over gun control measures further exacerbate the problem. The United States has a gun problem that is characterized by a high rate of gun-related deaths and injuries. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in 2019, there were over 39,000 gun-related deaths in the U.S., including homicides, suicides, and accidental shootings. The U.S. has a higher rate of gun deaths than any other developed country. Cultural factors. One of the factors that contribute to the gun problem in the U.S. is the Second Amendment, which guarantees the right to bear arms. Many Americans view gun ownership as a fundamental right and an essential means of self-defense. The gun culture in the U.S. is deeply ingrained, and firearms are often seen as symbols of independence, freedom, and masculinity. The culture of gun ownership in the U.S. is deeply ingrained and has historical roots. Americans have a long tradition of hunting and using firearms for protection, which has contributed to the cultural acceptance of guns. In addition, there is a perception among some that guns are necessary to protect themselves, their families, and their property. This cultural factor is also supported by a powerful gun industry that markets guns as symbols of power, freedom, and security. This cultural belief in gun ownership as a right and symbol of power has made it difficult for policymakers to enact gun control laws, despite the evidence showing the negative consequences of gun violence. Historical factors. The history of the U.S. has also contributed to the gun problem. This has been marked by frontier expansion, war, and violence. The use of guns as a means of protection and survival is deeply rooted in American history and has contributed to the cultural acceptance of firearms. However, the availability and ease of access to guns have also made them a tool for violence. The country's westward expansion, settlement, and exploration were often accompanied by violence, and guns were seen as necessary for survival. Additionally, the U.S. has a history of military conquest and intervention, which has contributed to a culture of violence and the perception that guns are necessary for national defense. This historical context has made it challenging to change the culture of gun ownership and the belief that guns are necessary for personal safety. Political factors. The political influence of the gun lobby, particularly the National Rifle Association, NRA, has also played a significant role in the gun problem. The NRA has been successful in lobbying against gun control measures, which has made it easier for people to purchase and own firearms, even those with a history of violence or mental illness. The ongoing debate over gun control measures has polarized the nation and made it difficult to pass comprehensive legislation to address the gun problem. The Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees the right to bear arms, which has been interpreted by many to mean that there should be no restrictions on gun ownership. Additionally, the powerful gun lobby, particularly the National Rifle Association, NRA, has significant influence in U.S. politics. The NRA has effectively lobbied against gun control measures, and many politicians are reluctant to support gun control laws for fear of losing support from gun rights advocates. Conclusion. The gun problem in the U.S. is complex and multifaceted, with cultural, historical, and political factors contributing to its persistence. Addressing the issue requires a comprehensive approach that involves changing the cultural perception of guns, addressing the root causes of gun violence, enacting effective gun control measures, and providing mental health services to those who need it. By working together, policymakers, citizens, and organizations can reduce the harm caused by gun violence and make the U.S. a safer place for everyone.